Hey guys, this is Red and Blue. PSG versus Lyon isn't just another Ligue 1 fixture, it's a story that's defined modern French football. From Lyon's domination in the 2000s to PSG's rebirth under QSI to Mbappe's farewell in 2024, this rivalry has seen it all. So today, we're going back through 5 PSG-Lyon matches that made history, the games that marked turning points, title wins, heartbreaks, and rebirths for both clubs. Let's get into it. And first one we're going to get into is PSG versus Lyon in 2004. Back then, 15th of May, Lyon comes to the Parc des Princes, leading the French league, and PSG is third, but cannot catch up to Lyon. The context is a bit particular. PSG must win to hope finish second and qualify for the Champions League, while Lyon can already be assured of the title. The game that happens is pretty classical of that season. We managed to score a goal by Pauleta early in the 6th minute, and then it turns into an attack defense with Lyon trying to catch up, but not managing to break down a very, very strong PSG defense that season under coach Vahid Halilhodzic. And so the game ends 1-0, but at the same time, Monaco lost its game against Rennes, and so it means PSG becomes second of the league, but Lyon is officially titled champions of France, and so get to celebrate their title in the Parc des Princes after a defeat. I remember I was actually at this game, and I remember the Lyon player celebrating on the pitch of the Parc des Princes. And I can tell you that even though it was a moment of history, it was very much one of those moments that you don't want to live through again as a fan of a team. Second one, 2008, and now we're going to the final of the Coupe de France. This is at the end of the Lyon era. The 2008 is the last of their 8 consecutive Ligue 1 title, and that year they actually do the double by winning the cup as well. And it's a game where it's funny because PSG is really not that strong that year. It's the year where we avoid relegation on the last game of the season. And yet we get to the final of the cup. And in that final, no one really expects us to create much of a challenge for Lyon. And yet PSG actually gives a really, really strong game. Both teams have their chances. The game is very tight, very stressful. PSG manages to not get scored on. We also have a couple of opportunities. We even have a goal that's disallowed for offside that couldn't be. And so ultimately, we go into overtime, and Lyon manages to get the goal by Sidney Govou in the 105th or so minutes, and PSG doesn't come back. Very symbolic moment as well for this game. This is actually the last game of Pauleta with PSG. Pauleta was our star player during those hard years in the 2000s, and a lot of PSG fans in France, myself included, still considers that he's one of the, if not the greatest striker to ever play for PSG, and definitely a club legend by any means. And so he plays his last game in this French Cup final. He gets substituted in the second half and gets a standing ovation by all of the PSG fans. And sadly, we go on to another era of PSG football. Which takes us to the next one. This is February 2012. We are counting 8 months after Qatar bought PSG. And so this is very much a change of an era. Lyon is on their way down. They've been for a few years now. They still have a very competitive team. PSG on the other end is on their ascendancy. We've started to get a few QSI recruits, but the team is also largely players who were there before. And ultimately, we get to get a draw in Lyon, 4-4 in the league, a game which showed that French football was changing head. Lyon were no longer the unbeatable machine that they once were, and PSG were still, a bit chaotic, but also full of potential. And the game really shows that because it's a full-on roller coaster. Lyon manages to lead 3-1. Then they lead 4-2 with 20 minutes to go, and PSG still manages to claw back to a 4-4 draw in pretty dramatic fashion. We get a last-minute goal at the 90th plus 4 minutes by O'Haro on an assist from Mathieu Bonnemer, which is really named from another era. And this is really, the transition between the Lyon era of the 2000s to the PSG era of the 2010-2020. Next one I've got is the PSG Lyon of May 2013. 1 year later, things have changed. This is the game where Qatari PSG gets their first QSI-era title on a goal from Jérémy Ménez at the beginning of the second half. And so, like a year later, everything came back full circle. When Lyon had, lifted a couple of titles in the Parc des Princes, we returned the favor and get the title in the Groupama Stadium. And, this is really like the official beginning of the QSI era in French football. David Beckham is actually in tears after the final whistle. He's the first English player to win the league in 4 different countries: England, Spain, Italy, and France. And it's, his last game away from home. And PSG's rebirth as a dominant French power, but also as a soon-to-be European contender. And finally, the last one, much more recent, May of 2024. So not even 2 years ago, year and a half ago. This was also a French Cup final against Lyon, where we win 2-1 in Lille, actually. And, one of the reasons why this game will remain in history, it's the first Coupe de France final ever played outside of Paris. The Stade de France was undergoing renovation for the Olympics. And so we went up to the north, and we're, this is where we get our 15th Coupe de France title, which is a record. And it's also Mbappe's final match with a PSG shirt. So very much the end of an era. We win 2-1 with goals from Dembélé and Fabian Ruiz and lift another trophy while marking the end of one of the QSI cycle and the start of a new one. And so you can see Mbappé smiles and tears as he lifts the trophy, which is very much the goodbye that we could have wanted for this player. And so as you can see, throughout history, throughout the years, French football and the story of French football has been dominated by those clashes between Lyon and PSG. And so we can very much hope that tonight's game will give us the same sort of historic moment with the two teams battling to give us the win in the Lyon Stadium. So anyway, here is what I had for you guys: 5 historic PSG Lyon games. Go check out the preview, as you can see on screen, from the game tonight, if you haven't yet. And also, as always, please like this video if you've made it this far. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Let me know in the comment what historical, like PSG Lyon game is etched in your memory as a PSG fan. And don't forget, ici c'est Paris!